Hey y'all, it's another Thursday. I think I owe y'all an apology. No, I don't think. I owe y'all an apology. So I really just decided last minute, last week, not to do the show. It wasn't really last minute. It was as early as I could possibly think of it as, but it was for a good reason. I owe y'all an apology. And why initially I started saying I think it was because I was considering that it's a good justification, I would believe. But then y'all don't deserve that. Y'all deserve an actual genuine apology. See the difference? We're gonna get into these differences later on. But and see the difference of just word choice and diction. Because if you give an apology that seems like you don't really mean it, then what's the point? Anywho, but y'all actually deserve an apology that I decided not to do the show last week. And my good reasoning for it was that I think that same day or the day before, I gotten my booster shot. So yes, I am completely vaxxed. I don't sway either way. If that's what you want to do, I root for you. I tell you to pray over all that dosage. Okay. Go with your gut. And yeah, it is a risk either way. And I think that getting the vaccine is actually a risk that you should be willing to take. Here nor there. Again, sway no one either way. But I got my booster, and baby, that thing kept me asleep. That's all it is. That's it. I was tired. Okay, so either who, welcome back to another episode of the B-Mix right here only on BigSpoolsRadio.com. You already know who Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time are for. Everyone, the unseen, the unheard, the overlooked, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that does not belong anywhere, me, be. So welcome. And in the spirit of welcoming and welcoming back is my girl. Listen, the self-love queen herself, Miss Jasmine. Hey, Jazz. Welcome back. Welcome back. Wait, you muted.
Oh, I thought I hit the button, but it didn't work. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back. She just keeps on, y'all. She keeps on coming back. I appreciate it every single time. You have no idea. And I just want to say you're very pretty. Like you're just giving. I don't know if it's because I miss you. I don't know if it's because I haven't seen you in a little bit. I don't know, but
I just took out my braid out.
Oh, well, because baby, I was going to say this bush is popping. Okay, so this braid out is doing.
I had to do 2 styles in one. So I was like, I want to do a braid out, but I don't like walking around with the braids. So I had been wearing my wig lately with a hat.
Okay.
Non-attached lace. The lace was there, so I couldn't be like, what lace? It was there.
The lace was there, sure.
Not attached, so I had hats on top.
And that's okay too. Make it work. Okay, sorry, I was reposting on IG the show and just moving slow about it. Cause I'm just slow molasses today. That's redundant. Anywho, okay, I'm feeding off this radiance. You are giving off just radiance. Like, I don't even know if you see yourself. You look so happy, so refreshed. It's the painting back there that I was gawking at earlier. It is the braid out. Your bush is doing it. Your skin is probably, you look beautiful. For real.
Thank you. It's probably the ring light. The ring light.
Damn, it's you. It's you. And that's okay. It's giving though. So I'm really feeding off of the energy that just your look and your aura is giving. Because I'm the person that literally looking at myself, I feel like I look because I feel tired. So I feel like I'm giving a gray scale, whereas you are giving full blown color. It's just.
You look cute.
Thanks. I'm just saying.
You got the yellow on the shirt. That's popping through. These cute balls.
Thank you.
Drake balls.
Okay. Not Drake balls. Cry. That sounds so bad. Even lock ball sounds bad.
Right.
So either one, like they're petals though. They're little like
They
pony
do. I like it. With the shells on the end, some of the plaits. I'm feeling it.
Thank you. I'm trying not to shake them too much because I got a few that's loose, baby, you know. Anywho's, I'm sorry, y'all.
Your locks really grew fast too.
Listen, okay, and I feel like I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. It's not a secret. But a little known Black history fact about me is that I definitely would. I locked in. So my lock anniversary is New Year's Eve. And so, yeah, December 31st, it was 2019. Yeah, 2019 going into 2020, right? For my 30th. And so I did that. I locked, and I loved my little baby locks. I was just having so much little fun, like, oh, put them up. Oh. And so, but then for my birthday, because it was my 30th in 2020, woo, we are in our 30s now. Jesus, that was years back. And so on my 30th, I'm like, oh, what am I giving? What do I want to give? And so I got the I always call them the extendos, like the extendo, like faux locks, and love them. But then how does every story go? Every story we have been telling for the past 3 years now goes such and such, but COVID, right? So, and then COVID. So COVID hits, and of course that was, the peak of it. And so, of course, salons and my girl Sweet is closed. So it's like, girl, okay, I'm gonna just hold on to these things. And here's the thing. I usually hold on to hairstyles way longer than I should. I will admit that. Very lazy when it comes to my hair. And I just, I don't think I did so well at, right? See, Shola, thank you. Shola said the same. She is so pretty. Exactly. Like, you're just, look at your smile. You're just giving. You are giving me today. But girl, I had to leave them. It was the one time. Oh well, thank you. Wait a minute.
I told you was adorable. Who you right?
Not damn y'all old. Now come on, girl. You right with us now. Come on now. We all
class of 08.
Okay. Speaking of, I'm all over the place tonight. I'm gonna get into notes, I promise. But dear class of 08, Western High School, only the best. Can we have a reunion, please?
Finally?
Successfully? Can we do that? Because first of all, it's gonna be pretty interesting. See, back when we were gonna have a reunion, I actually had friends. Like a boatload of friends in the class.
Right. Now it's different.
Oh, they don't like me now, huh? Wow. I keep finding out so many people have unfollowed me on social media. It's hilarious. Moving on. Oh, no, because of COVID-19. Right.
Oh, unfollowed? You know what's so funny?
What?
I only unfollowed one person. I unfollowed my cousin, right? But he's still my friend. But I unfollowed him just because I don't like the stuff that he posts, and he posts all the time. Mm-hmm. And I realized that he was always on my news feed. So I was like, all right, he can still be my friend, but I am going to unfollow.
There you go. That's I can respect it. Because as soon as you said cousin, I was like, not your cousin. But then immediately I corrected myself, like, girl, protect the peace, yeah? Because it's really a thing. I'm even seeing, and I know we are getting more and more, I don't know, familiar with algorithms and all of that. And so me just really getting more familiarizing myself more with TikTok, that the more I'm following different things now, obviously that's the more I'm seeing. And so I knew that, and I see that more of anything else. But what I've been following a lot more of are the positive affirmation, a lot of even TikTok preachers, so I'm seeing more of that. So I will admit, because I don't know any other way to be but transparent with y'all. Okay, can we have the reunion at my divorce party, period? And let's have it. Might as well, because maybe it'll be more people that actually like me there. So that'll be fine. I don't know. Either way, I'm still looking forward to a reunion. But I think we should do that, Shola. I'm here for it. Okay. I have been fiending for a reason. I've been saying I want somebody to get married. I've been fiending for a reason to dress up and get I want to get my makeup done. I don't know. Y'all know that's
well, y'all should definitely do that at my art show, because I'm trying to have a formal art show where we dress up and wine glasses and
I want to put on a pump. Like I want a high split. I want a thigh. I'm excited. That's exciting news.
Shimmer, some velvet.
Okay. Oh, girl, I got this velvet. I ain't pumped out yet. Jesus, I can't wait.
Cleavage.
Okay. Cleavage. Okay. You gotta get the stuff.
Giving it. Giving
very much. That's good. James, but we're not going to dance around the fact that you're talking about an art show here. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, I just.
My current mission. That's my current mission in life.
Yes, I am touching the green, manifesting it with you. That's good. That just made me happy. That filled my spirit.
High split. Ashley said, "Okay, high split, definitely."
Come on, because I wanted to. What was it? Oh, for Josh, for my best friend Josh's birthday, he wanted us to dress. I don't know. I think it was just to go to Black. I can't remember, but he wanted us to dress up. And I remember back then that was like, I was fiending for that look. Like, I was like, baby, I'm going to give high split. Like, I want that. I just want to walk and it'd be a little breeze and it'd be like, that's all I wanted. And so, but then I dropped the ball and didn't like look until last minute or whatever. So I couldn't get what I was looking for. So I'm still fiending to like give this at some point. Like,
Ain't it so funny how our sexy done evolved as we gotten older? Because before, sexy was definitely ass hanging out, almost like short. Now it's like split.
Jazz. Let's talk. Wait a minute. That's one end. So mind you, we're already in our topic, by the way. The fact that we're talking about cultural differences. Like, get into, like, eat this up, y'all, because this is like it's a large array of cultural differences within our own culture. And so. One end, you said, look at how our sexy has evolved, right? So yes, at some point, I definitely was like addicted to like just everything show because I felt like I have legs. I don't care, and I know we touched on that before, right? But then, how about I think of the total opposite end of like our innocence, right? So think about like ninth grade, like when we were wearing the tanks over top of the polo, baby, ill. Exactly. And this was sexy. Like, this was like, oh, baby, the milkshake is definitely bringing. No, I wasn't at the yard. Nobody. No one. No.
In high school, I didn't know what sexy was.
Same. And that's why I'm like, consider that.
Even though it was a lot of girls that wore heels, Western was like, definitely. And I always was a girl that was like, how? These long ass hallways.
The steps.
Only elevator use when you got crutches, like
baby. So y'all going to what was that? Y'all going to Spanish class. That's what you're saying. Yep. So you're going up there to from English class on the first floor all the way up to the third floor. And that it's like 7 flights of stairs per floor. No. Was not doing that.
Stilettos, pumps in the hall.
Yeah.
They was rocking stilettos.
Okay. No, ma'am. And I applauded. I think no.
It was cool to watch. But I just knew that I would never be that girl.
Exactly. I was like, from afar, like, oh wow, okay, girl, you look good. Go on.
I'm like, where did they practice at? Cause
honey. And that now the funny thing, what I will admit, I remember in middle school and high. Oh my gosh, Shola, do you remember this? I just came to mind. So in middle school and high school, but definitely middle school, I remember how I practiced in heels because I knew somewhat early on that I was into heels. But I was like, my mother ain't she ain't taught me to, one, ain't getting them. 2, not letting me like get them. No, really, who told us to do this, Ashley? Okay, girl. And see, shows have the same thing. Oh, our show turn up, period. Like, this is a big deal. Like, I still love how you just slid it in there, but I'm gonna rock with you vibe. Just, slid it. But we're manifesting over here for this art show. Exactly. I'm already giving I think
manifestation.
I know what I'm going for. I see it. Oof. Not that I'm making it about me, but I'm excited. Is my point. But
you have every right to be excited.
Thank you. And no, so do you. That's my word to you.
I am excited.
Okay, good. Maybe that's what you're giving off. I'm telling you, it's just, you're giving. But yeah, so I realized that I was into heels. I don't know, whatever, at some point. And so, but I think I was the one like to put on my mother's little like kitten heels or whatever, little church heels. But When I like really started to kind of get into heels, of course I never wore them like outside. One, I'm still, but definitely back then very clumsy, like naturally clumsy. And so like the type of clumsy that don't even make sense, like falling upstairs instead of downstairs, moving on. And so, but where I would get my practice in, because it made me think of when you said where were they practicing or whatever. And I never thought of that back then. And you saying it now just made me think of like, I used to practice, like I would be home like having to do my chores. So I got to clean the bathroom. So I'm clumping around the house, like in heels, like,
wow.
Like, isn't that crazy? Like, okay, let me go on up here. Okay, like stepping all through the house. And it'd be like, as long as I have something like that I just have to do like a task. I guess if I task oriented, I got it. Like, I'm gonna just, so people like you know how when we still kind of getting into our like clubbing days or whatever, you know, so you got the people that take the heels off or whatever, like, baby, I cannot. And I think it's because it's just mind over matter, like it's task oriented. Like, baby, I will not, I can't. So no judging anyone, take the heels off, but that's my rule. Moving on. Oh, child, you really, that didn't set an anchor in my mind. Like, consider how our sexy has evolved. Like, this is really cracking me up, Loki.
Cleavage is still a part of it, though, for me.
You said what?
Cleavage is definitely a must.
Yes, a must. I don't even think you can help it.
I like a mesh. I like the little mesh top part where it's like a sweetheart top.
I was with that sweetheart, yep.
Or even with just like a see-through shirt with just the bra underneath, like.
Yeah, so my thing is, I love how like nowadays, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to like pinpoint this as like, because I don't mean it how I think anybody else could take it. But recently I watched a pastor who I love her. So I don't even think she was taking any offense, but either way, a pastor was like preaching. And so I love when it's like, I love the peekaboo effect. Like, I know there's some like shirts and, you know, my mother says blouses. So blouses or dresses or whatever that give the peekaboo effect. Like, I get that. But then I like the peekaboo effect is where it's like, you really did not mean it. Like, literally thrown on like a turtleneck. So like the pastor, she literally had on a black turtleneck. And baby, you could just see like slightly. And I mean, very slightly, but it was giving very much like, girl, you look good. Go stack. Like, you look good. And she snatched that, like, girl, you look good. That's all I kept saying through the whole thing. I'm watching it and I'm getting the word, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, girl, on top of everything, girl, you look good. Yeah. Like, it was just giving. So like, yeah, I do like a something like that, like, oh, all covered up, but it's like, you're welcome.
I know you imagining what's going on.
Excuse me, but
that's bad though, because you. So no, you're not.
Girl, listen. But also, here's my thing too. Oh, this is funny that we're on fashion. So, oh my gosh, let me pause for a second. Hold on. I want to get his entire name right because I'm about to butcher it. Andre Leon Talley. Am I saying that correctly? I hope I didn't just butcher his name. See, I wanted to. Oh yeah, I was right. Okay, so. Rest in peace to Andre Leon Talley. Because I think just because we're like on fashion, I knew I wanted to incorporate it into the show at some point anyway. Just a little tiny snippet, I promise. But like most of us probably, but I was introduced to him, baby, when I was addicted to watching, America's Next Top Model. Baby, when he was on there, and then I was hella pressed. And when I grew up and then watched, I think he was in not the series, but the movie Sex and the City. And I was addicted to that, honey. And he was on there. I just felt like, oh, I know him. Like, I grew up with him. Like, but either way. So I just,
You said Sex and the City.
I think it's the first one. The first movie where Carrie Bradshaw is trying on wedding dresses for I think it's Vogue, a Vogue shoot and spread. And he was, on the set, and it was just like rightfully so. And I just remember he had his like Louis, like, I don't know if it was a box or whatever, like, and just sat like, baby, sit like the way you be sitting, because you be sitting now. Like, he just commands, he gives a presence. And this is all just me being able to observe him just on TV, but you knew like, oh, he knows his stuff. And he was very, very much respected in the fashion industry, which, as we all know, I'm sure it just takes a lot. So, right. Him, man, may he rest in peace. But like, just to think about our the evolution of our sexiness is like, I'm a little anchored there, y'all. I'm not even lying. Like, I don't even think we can move from that yet. And I think, and that goes, I'm gonna keep taking that out of my vocabulary, but like the cultural differences, because then of course you had, I mean, it goes across the different genres or cliques of, I'm just thinking of our high school, which is only but you know, I'm sure everywhere, like there are cliques anyway. So then you think of that, but then it's all in the same time frame. So it's like this capsule, you know, of time, and yet so many cultural differences because you create this culture within the culture, right? And so like you have your environment to think for that. You have, you know, your living environment, your social environments, like all of those different things. And or just it's like a madhouse when you really begin to dissect, you know, all that is I guess just included in culture. And yet how we can look upon any other culture and either shun them or, I ain't saying we, because well, it is some history, but either way, we wasn't trying to kill off all, you know, all of the same people and all that. So we ain't winning that. But you know, I'm gonna let the shoes where they fit, you know, let them fall.
Or dismiss them.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, because if we consider just all that our own culture entails, that's the word I was looking for, entails, it should really cultivate something within you that makes you just appreciate somebody else, even if it's different. I still don't understand how the world that we live in, I don't get how the world we live in is just like, oh, it's different. It's different. Okay, cool. Be different. Okay, like, go on, that's you. Okay, and this is me. Okay, like that's it. I will never ever understand.
I practiced learn walking in heels from just starting to go to places, Adrian. I didn't learn how to walk in heels in high school. Like short distances, find me my seat. I definitely didn't wear it to school. That was like prom, ring dance, but.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh, my mother is really going back. Okay, wow, Mom. I'm sorry, I'm cracking. Mommy is jazz. She'll be like, that's the jazz from DeBase, right? Yes, Mom, that's jazz from DeBase. I remember.
Listen, I think about DeBase all the time, even though it was just a summer camp that I went to one summer. Just because it added so much, like.
It was just one summer.
I guess horizons have been widened. It's pivotal for me. Like we took dance, we did all the dancing and stuff. That was the first time I ever was really into that, and I wanted to be. So it was something that excited me, even though I always think about how I didn't make the end of the summer performance.
I knew you were gonna bring.
I don't know if it was self-sabotage because I was nervous, but when I couldn't find that other shoe, I think it was a tap shoe, ballet shoe. I can't even remember, but it was enough for me to be like, all right.
All right. I'm not going. You got to press through because you deserved and you earned your right to be there. But I guess I get it. I wonder though, like, because I know I can. Not saying that that's what it was, but if it was self-sabotage, just because you brought it up, and from that angle, like I know I can relate. Like, I can relate because, and I'm not really trying to tell myself too much, but very side note to anything that we were talking about, but it kind of ties into where I'm about to go. That happy birthday to someone newly special in my life. Moving on, and so.
Wait, how you doing?
So here's the thing.
Newly special. Moving on.
Here's the thing. So my point is like when we bring up self-sabotage, just like because I've literally like today I've had like a few like just self-talks of like, hey, like so how do you feel now? Like what are you about to like in short, and we can like probably dedicate like, or I'll tie this into like giving like I guess more detail into a topic that I guess relates more. But that I know that, like I said, like today I had a few self-talks, and so I was aware that one with this person, like it's very different from like anyone else I've ever like talked to, entertained or whatever, that like, and I naturally just wanted to like care and like give my like energy and attention, not even, and it was like with ease, like it's been with ease. And so I had to ask myself, like, now that it's getting official, I don't know, whatever. Just, I'm literally avoiding looking at you right now.
Listen, so I'm excited about other people's good news.
I know, I do that's too. And I don't know how to like eat it up. And so, but yeah, so I literally, not that I have, but you know, you visit that, because I know in the past, like I have realized like, oh, this person getting close to me. Like, so now it's just like, hey, how do you feel? Like, are you about to do that? And it's like, no. Okay, just checking in, sis. You all right?
Right,
no self-sabotage? Okay. Like, so that was my whole point.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
I have a friend who does it. I do believe that I self-sabotage in dating relationships too.
Listen, man.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Like, if we really talk about it, we
certain aspects, just because sometimes, especially when you're a person that's experienced some ish, you know?
That's really what it is.
And then you get to get into a newer situation and you start to compare.
Exactly.
That comparison,
honey,
what they say, is a thief of all joy.
Come on now. You be like, woo, baby, do not do it. So then we are there. So I have like some notes around that, because just in our like cultural differences. So where this event, one, we brought this up, well, I was going to say last week, but last show, just, it was really like in the middle of, I feel like, everything else that we were talking about. And I loved it. Like, your light bulb went off and I was like, girl, me too. I was thinking the same thing. Like, this gotta be the topic. You know, we gotta pull this out and give it its own time. Right. And so there were some very helpful notes that I actually received. These are not my own, but I received them. And so I never put anybody's business out there, so I'm not going to say who, but I greatly appreciate them for just sharing their experience. And so listen to these notes. So, and just because we're talking about dating, right? Think of the differences between men and women. And this one in particular is like needs, right? Yeah. So one is, so for men, it's sexual intimacy versus women's intimacy. Mm-hmm. For men, it's conversation versus women's communication. And again, these are needs. Men need domestic support versus women's financial support. Mm-hmm. Men need recreational companionship versus women need commitment. And men need respect versus women needing honesty. That thing floored me, okay? I said, oh, wow. So when we talk about self-sabotage, like, one, we might even, and I'll say this for myself, like, I, without ever even considering probably any of these points on this list, right? Or this list in general, or that there was a list, right? Because we were dating well before we would even consider, like, oh my goodness, that, you know, boys are from Mars, girls are from Venus, or something like that. But anywho, like, I know that I had to have experienced or portrayed some type of self-sabotaging unbeknownst to me. That's where I always have to drive that home. Like, there are so many hurting people unbeknownst to themselves. Right. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, as you receive the hurt, you are aware of it. And it might take some time. That's the thing, too, though. Like, there's so much, like, hurt is also an action word, like, which we know. Love is an action word. We know that love feels better when it's in action, if it is the right love, because wrong love in action can hurt. Right. So there's the hurt coming in. And so the fact that it is moving, and we don't know at what speed, right, or with what at what volume, but there are two different parties that at some point, whether it's at the same time or not, at some point neither one of them know that hurt is being had or hurt is happening. And that's where it's the idea of cultural differences, meaning that, so I reposted this for the show, and I know I posted it late and I didn't mean to, because I really wanted people to be able to see it before the show. But it says your idea of, mind you, I know it says Black excellence, but just follow me. So your idea of Black excellence can't just be degrees, office jobs, and group pass portfolios. How about mental health, healthy relationships, building a family, giving back to our community? And I would say etc. because I feel like it's countless other things. But so with that being said,
back to the community is a big one.
Listen, because how are you contributing to, we talk about this so much here on a B-Mix, like what is your contribution, your positive contribution? Because you could be contributing something, again, with the hurt. And you don't even know because you made it, either you don't perceive whatever you're doing or what you have said as hurt, right? So hurt people hurt differently as well, receive hurt differently, and dish out hurt, differently. So there's that too. All these differences cultivated within this culture, our overall culture, and then our individualized cultures, our individual environments, like our individual worlds that we live in at times. It's bananas of just how much is happening that we seem to be so unaware of, and we need to tap in. It is high time for us to tap into what is happening around us. Like not even just what's happening around us, what we are doing to influence what is happening around us. There we go. Yeah. Thank you, Jace. Because we cannot keep seeing it as you, us, that over. No, it's we us.
Can't keep looking at it from a victim standpoint.
That's it. And that's all. Because at the point, I ain't got about to get to preaching, but the goal is it not to for us that are victims of whatever you may have been victimized of, right? And is for no person, what Jazz just say earlier about comparison. So it's for no one to compare, like, oh, you can claim yourself as victim of this, but it's not as bad as that. If you're a victim of something, I acknowledge it and I humbly apologize for it, right? The goal is for us, whomever can identify as a victim, to then work and heal to be the victor. It is to work from your label, your title, your name tag, your burden that you carry that's in a suitcase that you are dragging, that is so heavy, that is labeled victim, to then be light. Or it can even be just as heavy, but it's going to feel better. Carrying a better weight, feeling, or I don't know. I'm gonna reword that some kind of way. Like
not using that victim suitcase as a weapon.
Good. It's good, man. That's it. And that work starts where? With you. Like Jazz is wearing one. It's her shirt, period. Queen me. But she's wearing the right thing. Me. Like, it's you. It's me. It's you. I'm not pointing fingers at you. I'm letting you know that your issues, your challenges, your circumstances that you are facing, as much as they may seem external, they stem from internal. They stem internally. I promise you. That should be tip of the week. Your external circumstances stem internally. Okay?
And we all have to move with the mindset of remembering that all of us are victims of something.
Okay.
It may not be the same exact thing, but it ain't nobody walking this earth that ain't been hurt by something. Whether there's so many ways a child could be hurt, there's so many ways an adult could be hurt. Right. Not just in romantic relationships, even though we tend to highlight that, but friendships, co-workers, whatever. And just remembering that and allowing other people grace, and not compiling onto the drama or the BS that they've already dealt with because you've been through something. I think that's the thing, because some people, they act like they're the only person. And I've been that person before too, where you're like, oh, I'm the only person. Like, my hurt is worse than yours. Like, you don't know that. We don't know that.
Exactly. And that right there, literally, those are two monumental the cultural differences right there, because it all is what's the whole thing. Everything is a decision, right? Everything is a choice that you make. So as you are hurt, as you are once you are finally processing your hurt, right, and dissecting it and pulling out and learning from it and this and doing away with the scraps and yada yada, right, that you decide, you know what, I am hurt. I acknowledge. So acknowledgement is going to be a big key to acknowledge that I am hurt. And I choose not to use it as a weapon. I choose rather to use it and to internalize it and to be able to spew it out. Well, I was hoping so. When you bit that, I was like, I hope it's so. Hi, Nene, love you so much. Y'all, look at oh my goodness, how to move. Oh,
He said, why you got me in the spotlight?
Give me all the fur babies. Like, I just want to roll around in the field with all the fur babies. That's my happy place.
I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. Trust me. You never have to apologize. You can always send me random pictures of Moo because I'm crazy like that. But I love him.
Thank you.
So, but like, the cultural difference between there is deciding right in that moment that I am not going to, like you said before, use my victim stance, right, as a weapon. I choose not to do that. If anything, I now choose to internalize my hurt, still acknowledging, and you're allowed to say, okay, in the moment or in your part of your healing process where you have to acknowledge your hurt, if it helps for you to identify yourself as a victim, okay, that's fine. You're allowed that. You are permitted. You have free range. However, at some point, again, the goal is to move from victim to victor, right? Because that means that is your experience. You have gone through that for some reason, very unfortunate circumstances, right? I get that. The hurt doesn't feel good, right? I mean, exactly. But you have experienced that for some reason. One, clearly because you can handle it, because God always said that he will not put more on you than you can bear. I know sometimes it feels like Lord, ain't no way. Ain't no way you thought I could bear this one. But it is true. And it also means that there is your responsibility is to heal and to get to the place where you now are the victor over the stance of where you were the victim, even though you may or may not have had anything to do with why or what or who hurt you. But still, your responsibility, one of your responsibilities, is the fact that you are then to use this as a stepping stone of life, not to allow it to deter you from from your purpose work, from what it is that you are called to do, what it is that you are drawn to do, why you are here. You are here for a reason. I will forever remind all of us that is the case, because sometimes there are days you really need to hear that. You are here for a reason. You are here for a reason. If you don't turn around and look at yourself in the mirror, baby, and say, I'm here for a reason, and let your brain get to going with that, we let our brains run with everything else. Run with that. Let your brain try to figure out, well, where? Okay, on Earth. All right, cool. Well, what? Well, what? Like, I don't know about y'all. My brain be having to break it down to like little tiny bites. Like, baby, I got to chew this up. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just what we need. But we are here today to remind you that you are here for a reason. And some days, absolutely, it gets harder to be able to see it. But still, because you are here for a reason, I can tell you it is for you to persevere through, let's just say, the negativity with your positivity. So it, again, is your responsibility to take the hurt that you have received to it's come inside. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of something. I don't know, I'm seeing like a wheel or something like that, like just something churning on the inside. And so like the hurt, the negativity comes inside. One, work to the point where you're so strong that it bounces off of you. So you ain't got to worry about internalizing it. But as we are new to certain hurts, right? You're not just hurt once in life and like, okay, I'll never be hurt again. It don't work like this thing. Sorry, love you. And so some hurts are different than others, right? And so when you are new to one, that means that you are, not creating, but establishing and strengthening this muscle, and defense against this particular hurt. right? In order for it to be used for your good and the good for other people. There are names and souls attached to your name. So there's work for you to do. Why you cannot allow this hurt to come into yourself, right? And stay there and fester and turn you into this cold, hard, miserable person. I've told people many a times before, I know I've shared with y'all that I especially if y'all gonna read their tombstone, baby, I got every right to be a mean, bitter, I have every right. However, I choose not to be because that's my responsibility. No, I didn't choose the hurt. The hurt chose me. Got it. Now, it's also a part of my path. Like it's something for me I have to do something with it. I had to, or else it would have killed me. And I refuse. If you hate something so much, if something you dislike so much, would you allow it to be the very cause of your death, of your demise? No, you should not. You know, like that. Just no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that in 2022, y'all. No proportion, baby. No, ma'am. No, sir.
And I agree, because that's exactly, you know, with the ending of my last relationship, I felt the bitterness try and come in, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I knew that I didn't want to carry that on to whatever I wound up moving into, which is why I went inward so hard.
Ooh, I love to hear it. I'm serious. That's good.
Like, I feel this. I feel what I'm saying. I feel how I'm speaking on certain things, and I acknowledge it. And I know that that's not who I am, nor is it who I want to become. Mm-hmm. So all I can do is work on myself and put positive energy out into the world, encourage other people who may have gone through similar situations. Those relationships be a whole different type of hurt, because we choose those people. We don't choose family. We don't choose. I mean, sometimes we choose friends, and then we stay in those friendships out of.
Oh Lord, you're talking good. You're talking
definitely
good.
The relationship, it definitely hit on a different level.
Totally. Totally.
A whole different level.
Yeah. Like here's regular level, and then it's like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And rightfully so, though, because I know and so it makes me think of this, because I know I've shared this before, of why my companionships, right? So dating relationships, like why they hurt so much at the end of them for me, because it was also losing a friend, and friendship. I value friendship like to the utmost degree. And I really believe that's all of us, but naturally we as human beings, you know, like we have an innate necessity for I would just say companionship. We're just, you know, just to be attached and, you know, with someone, right?
Have community.
Hey, thank you. That's the word. Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Companionship. Community and companionship.
I know it's a damn C word. I cannot think of community. Jesus. Thank you. And so, like, because of that, I think that we all really, and that even really goes back into the Bible too. It just talks about like how close you hold a friend and all. And so it's like it's a bigger tear to the heart when you have, and I guess for people that were dating someone that wasn't really their friend, maybe you cannot relate. And I will acknowledge that. I'm telling you how it feels. Yeah. And not even to say that they were a good friend to you or they were a good, you know, dating partner to you, but if it's even lopsided to the fact that you promoted them as your friend. I promoted my two ex-boyfriends as my best friends, right? Mm-hmm. Like, not at the same time, y'all want pimping like that, but y'all know what I mean, in their respective times. And so that I did that, you know, and so because of that, at the end of these relationships, it's like, I lose my friends. I'm like, bro, I can't just call you and tell, like, you were the first person I would tell this to, or you were the first, you know, good or bad. Like, I can't even do that because I keep telling you, like, I somehow, for whatever reason, God thought it was funny to make me to the point where I can, you know, remove myself and view things globally. So I can separate things. Like, I can compartmentalize and I can be like, okay, we just argued here, but now we're over here and we have to deal with this. So, okay, let's deal with this. This has nothing to do with that right now. I would like to, oh, y'all, wait a minute. I'm getting yelled at. I haven't told y'all speaking of reminders, I have reminded y'all to be sure to like and share the show. Also, what I'm really excited that I have not thought about probably in a while of saying is that if you have a question or if you want to add into this juicy topic, okay, this discussion here, please feel free to comment and or call 443-642-9403. Again, 443-642-9403. Come on in this place, okay? You are welcome. All right. But yeah, like just they were my friends. And so I like you're absolutely right of just like there's another level of bitterness of like, bruh, like, so now I'm looking at people crazy of like, then I guess, I don't know, like, and I know people, because that's grief, right? You have to grieve the loss of these people. And I think there's something about grieving the loss of someone living, you know, like, I think the mind can make sense of like, okay, someone has passed, got it. But then here's this grief that none of us talked about, none of us grew up dealing with the losses or the grief that is attached to, you know, things like friendships and dating ships and all. Like we learned about what we would now call the other grief. Like the only grief that we knew was, you know, what comes to mind first, and rightfully so, right? But now that we just know better, clearly we have to do better. And so it's like that grieving process, it definitely takes you to a place, because I know some people, obviously, some people grieve differently. So there are the people that gravitate toward the thing that I guess reminds me of. So it's like, hey, well, I am grieving this relationship and they were my friend. And so I don't have a friend or a man right now. So I'm now clinging to my friends. Like, hey, y'all, I'm going to love on y'all. I'm squeezing on y'all. What's up? Right. Or they're the people that, you know, distance themselves, or maybe a mix of both or whatever. And there's all of, you know, different things in between. But, you know, it's child, embark on your healing journey. Let's take the moment there. Embark on it. I am sure there's something still in your closet, in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, that you have not processed. And that's a lot of us, because all of us have a lot to process, especially those of us functioning in the millennials on like this generation here, our generation, like there's so much on our backs, so much entailed for us to do. And it was just handed to us, like, you know, as it was. So many other generations, obviously things were handed, but then I think that other like chose, right? There were decisions made. And while they came out of like survival, just like, hey, we got to make the best of it, get on by. And so these choices and decisions could have been made differently to give us a better jump start. That was not the case. And so everything has been handed to us. And you always know of the people or group of people that have the most responsibility, because it's usually the group or the person that is left out. Hence why the show is for the unseen, the unheard, the overlooked, and the forgotten. For all of those, even if it's you that has forgotten a part of you or forgotten yourself as a whole, this show is for you. Like, simply because it is your constant reminder to go inward. Like Jess said earlier, to work inward. That was like beautifully said earlier. Like that's exactly it. And I get so happy to hear people say that. Like, I realized I was spewing out what was given to me and I like it. So I went inward. I started working on self. Yes, please. Yes. Give me more of that in our world. That is it. That's the anecdote. That's it. So, man, we got some work to do, and that's okay. It's okay, but we got to actually do the work. That's the key. That's really what is necessary, and it's because of like when I was talking about the post that I posted earlier, where I know I said don't pay too much attention to the fact this is Black excellence, but now back to that, like if we think about it, right, whatever your utopia is of Black excellence. It should very well, I think, I want to read the room universally and believe that we have moved from only believing, and while there are plenty of us, you know, right, skin folk and kinfolk, that, you know, believe like success is measured by, you know, degrees and, you know, oh, you got the office job and all that. Okay, cool.
Right.
But I think that as a whole, we have done enough work to at least get us to the point where we're at least peaking at the idea of like, that ain't it. Like, that ain't all that's it, you know? And
exactly.
Shout out to the pandemic. The pandemic helped a lot of people to hurry up and jumpstart and get there. But
right.
either way,
like, out of their comfort zone.
Right, exactly, right? Exactly. So it's like just for us now to consider, like what the rest of the post says, like, how about mental health? Imagine a world of Black folk, you know, the folk that have really been taken through the ringer mentally, if nothing else, we're at a place of overall, you know, at least majority, just at a good number of good mental health status. Oh my Lord. Like, I was just in a regular conversation earlier. I was just like, I probably do. Like, I don't think I've ever like been tested for it either. So that's me just working out of habituation. I've never been tested for it or even choosing to be tested for myself. But as far as like, I think adult ADD or anything like that. But I am pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's not even probably just a hint. Like, it's a good little amount, right?
I feel myself getting up and down, moving
okay. You'd be like, sit.
Forgetting what I was doing and like, wait a minute.
Listen,
my brain is moving faster than I can physically.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, why am I? If nothing else, our minds, like straight thoughts of being like. So I was laughing because on the conversation, she was saying that she was like, I remember I caught myself. She said I was talking to somebody and I just said something like, "Oh, did I heat up that food?" Like, and I'm laughing now only because she and I were able to laugh at it. I would not make fun if she didn't laugh at herself, but it of course, naturally makes you laugh first. But I was just like, yes, like I can justify that because that's what it is. And though, what I did do, let me help us out because I'm not ragging on us that either are diagnosed or most of us are undiagnosed. Right. But any of us that are dealing with, ADD, even ADHD, that something that I discovered in that conversation, well, it was minor, but still, I think it's monumental now I'm thinking about it, is that I think any of us that deal with, I guess, symptoms of that, right? A kudos to us is that there is something about the ability to multitask, yes, but that's just on the surface. Beneath the surface is like an exceptional, I guess it would be observationist. I don't know, what is that? Observer? Okay, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh Lord, I was searching in my brain for that. I'm like, what is that called? Just someone that's very observant, right? Because, excuse me, that she had said that unbeknownst to whoever she was speaking to, that she saw like a plastic bag and maybe the plastic bag had food or something like that. So it triggered, right, while she's running 10 miles per hour or 20 miles per hour, whatever, with her thoughts, that just seeing that bag, it triggered something else. And so it's like where the other person, wouldn't have thought of it. So then think of course, I'm gonna take you right back to, the topic of like cultural differences of where we are met. It does not always have to be an ugly situation. We're not talking about like domestic violence relationships where it's like, okay, clearly you came from a different type of world, not claim. That's an example. But I mean, even in like decent, healthy scenarios where, two different people or different parties are met and still there's a large cultural difference and cultural gap, right? Because each person grew up in their household, in their environment, saw whatever they saw. Yes, ma'am. Okay, good job. You can put it in the trash. Thank you so much. You did an excellent job.
And live very different worlds.
Right?
Very different worlds.
You get what I'm saying? And rightfully so.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jazz. I'm sorry.
I said having different things instilled in you as a child or having different things modeled for you impact how you move.
Exactly.
What to move. And sometimes when you see people move differently, you think they're moving wrong.
Exactly. Because
that's not how you're supposed to do it.
Right. And thank you. So no, they did not call. No, are y'all talking about me right now? But not the fact that is exactly how we really think without us thinking, right? But so we're not, the problem is not necessarily that each person is raised in a different household and has different things instilled in them. Even with the fact that we do understand there's a large range, that means that there are some wrong things. That's where, outside of our code, like that's where racism, has been passed on and things like. So we understand and we clearly see the fruits of, labor on both ends. And so the answer is not, hey, we'll get everyone to just instill the same thing. We're not looking to all become robots. The key here of all of what we've talked about is the fact of getting us to talk about our stuff. We come into a room full of people that are totally different or even slightly different, either way, different nonetheless, than us. And we sit amongst them as if we are the same. Mm-hmm. That is the issue. Mm-hmm. Walk into that room, the next room that you walk into, as different as you are. It doesn't mean that you have to flaunt it. It does not mean you have to make it anyone's business before you actually speak and use your mouth. Articulate your differences. Mm-hmm. That is what will empower and impact us and impact the movement in such a mighty way to get us, probably propel us, forward if we begin to do that. If we begin to speak and clearly articulate our differences, it doesn't mean that you are forcing your differences on anyone, but you are totally allowed to be as different, as unique as you are. That is how you were made. Because remember, you are here for a reason. You are here with a purpose. Mm-hmm. So we know.
And that's how you find your people.
Say it again.
And that's how you find your people.
Exactly. How about that?
You yourself, then nobody who could connect to you or relate to you or whatever the case may be, or who will appreciate you and your differences. Because you don't have to be the same. You just have to find people who appreciate your differences. But if they don't even know that they exist.
How about that? And that's it.
You're blending, you're hiding.
Yep. That's good. That's actually, yes. I'm so happy when I just hear somebody say something like, yeah. And how about, okay, so this feeling that I'm feeling right now is exactly that. That's the exact response that you really want to. And I think that we don't allow ourselves to have responses that we deserve and that we need. And quite frankly, that we want, but society or whatever has influenced us to say that, oh, no, you can't be excited about somebody agreeing with you. You can't actually.
Right.
You can. We think everything has to be a debate. There has to be a debacle made of everything. And that's not necessarily the case. That can happen in some cases, but we shy away from, things happening naturally, like, no. You can't force anything supernatural. Supernatural will happen upon you, right? And it's how you deal with that. But if you're fumbling natural responses and natural flow of things, then how you finna deal with anything supernatural happening? We'll take a break in the conversation for a second for some news. I was about to use somebody else's catchphrase. What is it? News that you can't actually use? I don't know. It's fine. I can't even get the phrase right. It's okay. But news. So COVID parenting has passed the point of absurdity. Quoting directly, how do we send our kids back to school when no one can find COVID tests and so many students and teachers are out sick? Oof. How do we keep our kids home from school when we're expected to be back at work? How can we be good parents when we are also required to be employees, teachers, nurses, playmates, chefs, therapists, and spouses? As I write this sentence, Netflix is babysitting my daughter, who is homesick with a fever and runny nose that might be COVID. Should I feel guilty that I'm not attending to her every need, or is guilt now a luxury of parents? Go back. Should I feel guilty that I'm not attending to her every need, or is guilt now a luxury parents cannot afford? Melinda Wenner Moyer writes.
Okay. Well, that's really the thing that's been on everybody's brains since they opened schools back up.
How about that?
Since they closed them.
Right, literally since the beginning of COP. Like, just, yes, that. Yeah. I know that they will not just all of a sudden grant us the Garden of Eden lifestyle that I do often
desire. Like, people in the house,
listen, like
doing something productive.
Oh, I'm sorry. And that was from, thank you, crediting the Atlantic.com. So if you want to read more into that, that's the Atlantic.com. Shout out to our producer. Thank you, Monty. Awesome. Again, cultural differences. Just all.
That's the thing too, because that is definitely an impact on different cultures in different ways. People have different circumstances. You got people who must go to work. They don't have paid leave. They don't have anything, and they have children. Right. You got people who work from home, or you got people who make enough money that none of this is a problem.
Exactly.
I'll get a tutor. It should be good.
Yeah, right. No, really, exactly. And so it's like, because of all of these differences, so there's a prime example, because I'm sure, and I try to consider, no matter what I suggest and just what we conclude here, that there still could possibly be someone else who's like, girl, we can do that, but right. So, because I was the person who always played devil's advocate. So I think of just what we just talked about before I shared that, of, speak your differences, right? Feel free, and this is your push to speak your differences. That even speaking them, because I know there's always somebody, if you speak them, they ain't gonna listen. They ain't going. First of all, going into it with that attitude always changes the narrative initially. So that's right. But I think that if everyone in the world was in a bowl and they poured out their stuff, right? We would see follow me, y'all, from all of the differences that will be poured out, because each person is unique and all that, there are so many similarities that, obviously that are shared. And so I think that we would be able to sift through and at least be able to rebuild different pillars of society, and understanding the importance, or the important factors, but the priorities of society as it is now. We are still thriving off of, work schedules and work weeks and all that were set how long ago? Right. You know what I mean? Like, can we consider, when are we going to get to the point where we consider certain things? It could be the school week as well, but at the very least, the work week that is considered, the work hours, you know what I mean, that are mandated.
The school week is based on the work week.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But my thing is, even if it were, and I mean, this is like me really just pulling something out of the side of my neck. But the reason why I try to distinguish between the two, because that has been, and that's what I mean. Like, we've been living off of that, like, hey, the school week is based off of the work week, fine. But we are living in a world where any and everything, I feel, is always up for grabs. Like, any and everything should probably just be changing right now, because all of it is changing unbeknownst to us anyway, right? So what we do have control over is to really, I mean, if we fighting over something in Congress, let's really fight about the things that matter. Can we fight for a happiness of people? I will never get over coming across, and I really think it was in a textbook, now I'm thinking about it, but either way, coming across an article that was mentioned about people, Lord, I'll get to that in a second. Okay, we got another piece of news. Oh God. But that of the countries and like the people or their citizens had oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a ranking of like happiest people by country, right? We were nowhere near the top.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a surprise to anyone. We were nowhere near the top, right? And so it's like to consider certain things like that even if for, I don't know, giggles, that if they consider, okay, well, we will maintain, I don't know, to weave it into something different from what we have abided by for so long, which is dumb. We shouldn't even have been abiding by a work week this long, this way. Seeing as though other countries, do something differently and they're happier. Moving on. But that, say if we left the school week at 5 days, but the work week is now at 3 or even at 4. So meaning that we are giving the fact that a parent, a guardian gets at least a day that they get to be outside of the weekend, that of course the kids will be home with them, but that they get a day during the week that their child, is somewhere where they have chosen, so they're fine. They don't have to rush and try to find a sitter. And this, consider the livelihood of your people, for God's sake. And even in a pandemic, because it baffles the heck out of me of how employers
don't care.
I mean, just really still right now, as if we have not been, what were we in year 3? Year 2? Yeah. Year 3 of this. Have we not experienced this pandemic that we have never experienced before? And y'all are just...
You living under a rock. But the thing is that the 3-day, I personally would root for the 3. I thought that was a good number.
Okay. And I thank you.
Not only does it's so many things that could be improved with that, because it increased unemployment, because now you have room to hire more people, because you're making the people that you already are employing work less, which means you'll have room to bring in other people for those other days.
Exactly.
And nobody's feeling burnt out.
Right. There you go. You have happier employees.
Right. Happier employees. They're going to come to work probably on time, bust out that shift.
Okay.
Customer service is going to be on a whole all-time high. Productivity is going to be up.
I ain't trying to steal the money because I feel like I'm overworked and underpaid.
And on top of it, then you just pay people more, because you don't pay them the lower amount if they've been working less. You just give them a higher pay, and then it'll balance itself out.
Exactly. But we are living and breathing and trying to function within a society that refuses to even ensure that every working person has sustainable wage. Yeah. They won't even do that, where you have us working 40 plus hours per week, and knowing that we are raising, families and this and that, and maintaining the economy. Are you kidding me? Without breaks, without halt, without pauses, and you still can't at least say every job that is out there, every single solitary job that you could possibly get out here, we will make sure that if it's per the area, right? Because I think that should be visited as well. Why are there so many different areas with different, cost of living on that? I do think that's stupid, but whatever, because I'm a unified kind of person. I kind of want everything across the board, but whatever. Shout out to the forefathers for that. And that's their forefathers, not ours. But either way, go ahead.
I saw the show. Well, it's this show called Adam Ruins Everything.
Crying.
And a few years ago, I saw an episode where they actually discussed the work week, pre-pandemic, years before the pandemic.
Okay.
And so one of the things that they talked about is that the last government official or president to push for the work week to be decreased from the 40-hour full time was actually what's the one that had the Watergate?
Okay.
I forgot it.
Yes. Okay. Now, of course, I never been good at quoting the presidents, but I do get you. I don't even know why I took up all the time. Who knows?
He had a scandal. So once he got impeached, that no longer became a topic of conversation. But he was the last president that was pushing for a decrease. And prior to that, the funny thing is, the reason why we are at a 40-hour work week, which it used to be 70 hours, is because of Henry Ford. And so really the government doesn't have to control it. It can be other businesses that take the initiative to say, hey, this is what will work best for our people. And that's basically what he did.
That's what I mean.
I'm giving my people 2 days off instead of 1, because that's what it used to be. Mm-hmm. And he said, I see my employees are coming to work more happy. They got more time to spend with their families, blah, blah, blah. And that was a really long time ago that he came to that decision. And since then, we can all agree that with the technological advances that our country or the world.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. The world, because we
don't need the same amount of hours at all.
Exactly. And especially not physically.
No.
Exactly. Inside of a building. And I get that to each his own as far as, when we say like per industry and things like that. But still, I mean, I know I'm limited in my thinking now, but just so many different, like I get like, okay, the factories where they're building cars, I'm sure. So I know not that many people are going to be able to, work remotely. But I don't know, advanced technology you might be able to. China probably can. They can probably build cars from their house. I don't know. But anyway, but
like, right, be able to do it, but a good amount of fields could.
Right.
And even if they're not working remote, they could still have
something
working hours and hire more employees.
That's it, man. Like,
to me, if you got less people, if you got more people coming in shorter time frames, productivity is always going to be up because no one's going to be tired.
Exactly. But you rather overwork your people because, they signed up for this. No, you actually placed us within a society and said that we have to work to earn the wages that you actually owe us. But carry on. And so I know that I have to do this in order to live. My cat definitely just rolled his eyes at me. I don't understand. That, like I have to work in order to be able to live, like, or else, I mean, you wouldn't care if I was coming to work, but yet I'm home. Like,
this is something that's been a topic that interests me for a long time. I looked up some years ago, Egypt, back in the day, used to pay people with places to live. Not money, but a home.
That's
so they worked to get a home.
Could you imagine if jobs, not just because you move from out of state or something like that, but if like jobs, like offered that, like as a, hey, I know like we can offer this and I get that your family size is this. And so we'll subsidize, like, I'm just show that they care.
They give people a car, like something, so you can get back and forth to work.
Why? Because
that's one bill that you don't have to worry about.
Right, there it is.
That's the priciness right there.
Here?
Insurance, repairs, payment.
Don't get no ticket. You got to maintain the insurance. Okay.
Registration.
Listen, because I'm telling you that you have to have this and you have to do that. But I'm putting you up here, you're gonna have to pay that, and there's gonna be a delay here. Like literally.
Yeah.
Joe, I ain't about to call you no Uncle Joe.
Vehicles for real.
Say it again.
I said they really suck us dry through those vehicles for real.
Listen,
the camera ticket, like to me, camera tickets should be illegal. Like if no person caught me doing it, why do I have a ticket?
Okay, so that's not my same justification, but I do right. Like the tickets, they're outrageous. They're outrageous, y'all, and I get it. But y'all ain't setting us up to really try. It's not for the safety. I can see that, but it's really to make the money, and you just keep making money off our backs.
Come on. Then say you don't have enough money to do the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. Why the school so bad?
Listen,
they said the whole country got lower scores than several other countries, but we the biggest country. So what's up with that? But we still the biggest country. Like what's up with that?
Yeah, I'm saying gets on my nerves. Like we're back. I'm not even about to call him uncle, but Joe, Kamala, listen, y'all want to make some revolutionary moves, like get us to talking about this. And my thing is the fact that we are fighting over things that have been brought up in Congress and been to the Senate and all that time and time and time again is so unnerving. It does tell me that there's some spiritual stuff in there. That got to just be the devil all up in there, baby. But there's some believers in it as well. Yeah. And so it is like, can we just get to the point where, we as the people man together on the demands of bringing this up again, y'all. I brought this up toward the very beginning of the B-Mix of, hey, let's consider, our list of demands. Can we band together? Like, even in the midst of our, personal cultural differences, right? Mm-hmm. That we are and probably forever will be culturally different, and that's okay because I'm a culture within myself. There are certain things I like, certain things I do not like. I don't like it that way. Don't touch me. I don't know. It's just because it's Wednesday, whatever. Like I am a culture all within myself, and that's okay. And that's my contribution to the overall culture, right? And so we will forever be culturally different. Can we still band together? Is the question on the table. And I need us to get to a place to do the healing, to do the self-love work, right? To gracefully, travel our journeys in order to position ourselves to be able to, articulate an appropriate response to that question. Can we band together and not just talk about it, be about it? That's it. That's it. And that's all, y'all. That's it, and that's all. I got 2 pieces of news before we get out of here, y'all. I guess I was about to say the light and the low, but it's gonna get a little heavy again. Okay, so this first one a little lighter. The baby is trying to rebuild that career, y'all. The baby gives a homeless mother $1,000 for her hats. What? Oh yeah, for her hats after she tells him she lives in a car with her son. So shout out to the baby for that. I don't care what mess up you do. I'm always be happy that somebody does some good. I ain't going about what it compares to what they did in lies. No,
I don't even know what he did.
Girl, I vaguely and barely know, but just I know he's beefing with his, I'll say most recent, I guess.
With the
most recent, child's mother, and it was ugly and all of that. So is and he's been in the news quite a few times anyway of just some mess going on. Right. Oh, the whole
something about
homophobic comments, right? Because I was about to say he's been in the news for another. Right. I guess that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, because I thought I was thinking about something else, but that's it. That's it. Because 3 things came to mind, and I guess I can't even think of the other one. So yes, the homophobic comments. Excuse me, and then I know the issue with his mother recently, just stuff. And I know it was something else. I know it's a third thing. It just isn't coming to me now. It'll probably come to me in the middle of the night. And I'll just yell it out in my bedroom. Okay, so second piece of news before we get out of here is New Mexico is the first state to ask National Guard and state bureaucrats to volunteer to substitute for teachers amid the pandemic as the state surges in infections. I did see something pop up like this. Child, I'm not going to, I don't know. No, I don't want to bring it that way. Because I think I was about to start talking as if I was going to sway anybody's thoughts. And that's never what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Just imagine, because I think when I saw it, it was someone reposting it or whatever. And I think I went to go Google it. Either way, I saw images. That's what I'm getting to. So seeing images, because first I feel like in writing, I was like, well, look at that's sweet. Y'all know I'm always naive initially. Like, that's so sweet. And then you get to the images and you see these various people in uniform. Oh, you know what? What I saw, I apologize. What I saw was officers in a certain area serving as subs. So here, I guess with National Guard, I would hope in New Mexico that you have folks in civil, in their civvies or whatever that's called, of, just like regular clothing. I hope that that's the case, because when I saw the images of, I don't even want to try to think of what area, I think it was like Mooresville, but I don't know what state, that particular district had, like I said, officers, and they were shouting out. This was the police department. It was a repost of the police department, just shouting out like, "Hey, thank y'all so much for the different schools for allowing us to come." And you just see the images of these officers standing in these elementary school classrooms, and just with so much that was right. Thank you. Right. So with so much going on, it just was like. Because it's hard right now. You want so bad, and I'm just speaking from a parent perspective, but I think for anyone else that has any children in their lives, I'm sure that it's an icky feeling when you get to just the thought of the conversation that you eventually have to have with the police. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, about the police with the children in your lives. And I say that because even in my conversation with picking my daughter up from school today, where we're getting into like really getting into like her memorizing like address and things like that. So she has my name down, of course, her name down, her age, her birthday, but then we get into address. And so it brought up like I know I said this, I think yesterday when we were talking about it, but then today kind of reiterating, as you reiterate, you want to give a little bit more information and kind of feed it. And so I wanted to be able to say like, hey, yes, like introducing the idea of like that there are bad people in the world, right? And having to break that innocence of like, oh, everybody's right. And so that's the part, a very unfortunate part about adulthood is as you learn stuff, you have to pass things on and then feed it to them in a way that they can, receive it. And then, but it made me think of, I didn't mention it, but it made me think of like, shoot, because I was using the easy way to portray that or to convey that message was, if you get disconnected from mommy and you have to tell the police officer, because as of right now, she has this trust of the police officer to do right. Mm-hmm. But I, as we all know, I'll just say most, because apparently there's some people, but most of us know that it ain't that black and white anymore. It never really was, but that we know for sure and have proof that it's just not that black and white anymore. And so that is why this is an issue that it just has to be combed out and has to be fixed. It can't go unaddressed any longer of, oh, police over there, we're over here. We got issues. We'll figure it out. We ain't calling them because they ain't going to do nothing. Like, because you can't even think of something as simple as, right? Like you can't even think of the officers as like, oh, just substitute teachers. Because I mean, that was icky as heck. Like looking at them in the classroom was like, oh Lord. And I think I think most of them were fine at first. I think the first few were like, oh, you see those, Caucasian children. I don't use that word, but the white kids, okay. And then you get down to it's like, oh, it was one like little black boy, he was doing his work. And I was like, what you thinking about him? Like, wait, just
right.
Woo! That was tough. So this year for New Mexico, being the first state for National Guard, okay, and state bureaucrats to volunteer. This is, first of all, I will say this though, teachers that are standing your grounds. I do want them, I pray that no one is just jumping on the bandwagon, because I know that's easy to do in any circumstance, unfortunately, even this. But I do pray that all of them that are standing their grounds come from a place of purely of like, hey, my circumstance says that I cannot, or and this doesn't work for me and my household and all that. That I totally respect 100%.
But that's the thing as a teacher that nobody is mentioning on the news.
What's that?
Teachers are the first people to get sick.
Yes.
When dealing with children spread germs. Everybody knows that.
Absolutely.
And when I was teaching, I was sick for 3 months straight. I got sick in a week. I was sick for 3 months at the start of the school year. And just like that, the germs spread like wildfire. Like being in a school, you watch kids, and this was before the pandemic, you watch kids cough on other kids, sneeze on other kids, wipe snot, touch it on the desk, like, and that's just in the little kid class.
Right.
It's not in high school, I don't know, but kids kissing each other when they shouldn't be.
Right.
Like, who knows? No, and not wanting to put on a mask because they're too cute for a mask or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And, kids are dirty.
And that concludes this episode. Right, kids are dirty. And the end. That's it. Oh, God.
And the shot.
Oh, God, that was hilarious. Kids are dirty. But I get it.
They
and I
hate them properly trained to keep themselves from sharing germs.
And that's it. But isn't that the answer to everything? Everything that we think of, all the issues that we have, and I'm closing out now, but all the issues that we have, it goes back to proper training. Proper training. I feel like I could talk a boatload about proper training in so many different areas of our society. And the common sense of how that would help us overall. But we are going to digest this for now. And God willing, we'll be back next week. Jazz, thank you so much always for just answering the call, man, and just being here. I appreciate you. I mean that. Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution to each of you. I love you. I do. I missed you last week. I did. And we're gonna move this thing. This train is not stagnant. Onward and upward. I know I said that I think a year ago or 2 years ago. And this year is double portion. The only way we can get double portion is we keep it moving. So until next time, be the cultural difference that you are. Be the mix that you are. Peace. Thank you.